Kendall Lewis challenges Samson to debate after his no-show at Civil Net's West discussion. Finance Secretary calls for property tax collected in Tobago to remain in Tobago. PDP Curtis Douglas observes high levels of poverty during election walkabouts, and Kendall Farm School receives upgrades. Good evening, I am Bianna Brebner. Welcome to the Tobago Updates Television News for Thursday, 24th April 2025. Now to our top story. Notably absent from the Tobago West candidates debate, hosted by Tobago Civil Net in collaboration with Tobago Channel 5, was Joel Sampson, the TPP's candidate for Tobago West. Shamfa Kajol Lewis, the PNM's candidate for the same constituency, addressed Sampson's absence during a PNM public meeting in Buku, which was held immediately after last night's debate. Kajol Lewis challenged Sampson to confront her directly on the issues, insinuating that his campaign speeches may not be his own words. Reporter Joshel Dan has more.
Tonight was the night for him to come forward and speak. No ducking, no hiding, no bobbing, no weaving. Come forth, appear, not see, appear and meet me. And meet me, Shampire, right here. Tonight was the night for that.
That was PNM Tobago West candidate Shamfa Kajol Lewis calling out one of her opponents, TPP candidate Joel Sampson, for his absence at the Civil Net debate last night. Kajol Lewis stated that she was more than prepared to address several key issues raised on the campaign trail, including the refurbishment of the Dwight York Stadium. She also responded to claims made by Sampson regarding the non-existence of a national sport policy, arguing that the document is publicly accessible online for anyone seeking information on the matter.
I waited for you tonight to tell me about the Tobago sport policy because you were making noise last night saying there's no national sport policy. A lie. Because if you look on the ministry's website open for everybody, you can see the national sport policy that expires in 2027. 2017 to 2027, it's the People's National Movement that delivered the national sport policy.
Moreover, she accused Sampson of not releasing funding to sporting groups on the island and questioned why the Tobago Athletic Company is not functional.
Tell me, why is the Tobago Athletic Committee still defunct and why you refuse to fund Tobago Athletic clubs because there is no Tobago Athletic Committee and you're sending them wrong done wrong. It's right by me, they have to end up for funding.
Kajol Lewis boasted that although sport development on the island does not fall within the remit of the central government, that it was under the PNM administration that they were able to deliver various sporting programs and initiatives to Tobago athletes.
And whilst we point to delivering to the people of Tobago, whether it's in sport, and as much as the central government is not responsible for sporting facilities or sporting programs in Tobago, we continue to fund Tobago groups and Tobago athletes.
Joshel Dan, Tobago Updates Television News.
Tobago Updates reached out to Joel Sampson for a response regarding his absence from last evening's debate hosted by Tobago Civil Net. However, Sampson chose not to answer the question and stated that he will give a response on his platform. To some other news now. The collection of property tax began a few months ago, but is the money staying in Tobago? According to Secretary of Finance, Trade and the Economy, Petal Ann Roberts, it's not. Speaking on a TPP political platform in Castara last night, she criticized the central government for failing to include provisions in the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority Act. She stated that the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Act No. 17 of 2021 does not grant the Tobago House of Assembly control over taxes collected on the island.
Section 26 says that in Trinidad, the Director General of the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority will now collect all the revenues and send it down to Port of Spain. The two representatives that we currently have never told you that
jurisdiction of the THA Act No. 40 of 1996, which states that all taxes paid in Tobago should remain on the island and be added to the Assembly's treasury. This comes despite previous assurances from the central government that property tax collected would count as revenue generated in Tobago. Additionally, Roberts pointed out that while the Board of Inland Revenue and Customs are being amalgamated into the TTRA in Trinidad, no such integration is taking place in Tobago.
This authority, do you know they made no provisions for the people of Tobago? Staff are coming to me and they are saying their colleagues in Trinidad receive options to join the TTRA and they have not done a thing for the people of Tobago.
Roberts claimed that these concerns were raised with the then Finance Minister Colin Imbert, but they were never addressed. In the meantime, she said she remains powerless as staff from the Board of Inland Revenue continue to complain about not having the necessary computers or systems in place to process tax payments and perform other tasks.
And let me tell you, I can't even buy the computers. You know why? Because the Inland Revenue said there are security features that they have to input, so they will provide the computers for the staff. And you know what? Up to today, they have not provided them.
Chief Secretary Farley Augustine also expressed frustration over the issue, declaring that no property taxes should be paid in Tobago until problems with land titles are resolved, thereby giving Tobagonians legal ownership of the land they have been occupying for several generations. PDP's Tobago West candidate Curtis Douglas says he was shocked by the level of poverty he's encountering on the campaign trail. Speaking on the Tobago Updates show Fight for We, Douglas said he never imagined that so many people on the island were suffering.
When I walk some of the road, I can't believe that the level of poverty and unemployment in Tobago is that high.
Right.
I'm still seeing people using out toilet, better known as latrine. And I'm still seeing people don't have running water in the home. I'm still seeing people who are disabled that are being forgotten.
According to Douglas, the situation is even more troubling given the extraction of hydrocarbons in waters close to Tobago.
And knowing the fact of all those big 40-foot pipeline that pumping the gas as we speak straight to Trinidad and making billions of US dollars, I can't believe we are here in Tobago undergoing these little meager things. I am totally disturbed and I'm hurt.
As a result, Douglas said he is now more determined to provide stronger representation for the people. He asserted that if elected, he would do everything possible to ensure Tobago benefits directly from the profits of nearby gas fields to improve the lives of Tobagonians. We'll take a break and come back with more. Stay tuned.
I went and tell everybody in my neighborhood I got a scholarship. I am going away. And then the coach got fired. We're diving deep into sports scholarships. It had no secret sauce and what it takes to transition from the local scene to an international playing field.
You have to log your hours. I was turned down 4 times.
We like to apply a little bit of pressure. Michael Jordan, LeBron James.
Moving right along, took a wise man to take a chance on me.
Let's get into the playbook.
The following is a paid political advertisement.
Like yellow is the color for recklessness? All you hear the latest from Kamala? But what kind of mad scene is this?
We'll prepare a divestment plan for the state enterprises and a debt workout strategy.
Let me break down this divestment thing, plain and simple. She say government have no place in business. That mean all state enterprises will no longer be under the government. WASA, Tiontech, NP, Port Authority, just to name a few.
We will transform the remaining state enterprises to publicly owned companies.
So who all you feel will be in charge of these companies? Their financiers? Duh. Tens of thousands of workers will be sent home. who you feel is the first to go home?
The first thing private companies will do is get rid of all the workers and shut down everything and bring in who they want. And I guarantee you it ain't gonna be us.
It's job loss after job loss. When the Kamla cabal get their dirty hands on a company like Tech, Lord knows what we will have to pay for electricity. That is mad people thing. So that is why we come in with this paid political announcement. And on the 28th of April, protect your jobs. We vote in PNM. PNM, PNM, PNM.
That was a paid political advertisement.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Thanks for staying with us. Big changes are on the way at the Kendall Farm School. The facility has undergone a full renovation featuring new toilets, air conditioning units, modern furniture, and an industrial-grade kitchen. Classrooms have also been refreshed, paving the way for enhanced agricultural training. Secretary of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, Natisha Charles Pantin, along with Administrator Julian Skeet and Technical Officer Cheryl Ramrup Sahadio, toured the upgraded site with Principal Clayton Matthews. The facelift comes just ahead of the official handover and supports a recent Memorandum of Understanding with UTT, which now allows students to live and study on-site as they pursue advanced agricultural education. Prime Minister Stuart Young, speaking at a public meeting in Abercrombie on Tuesday night, highlighted the economic gains Trinidad and Tobago has achieved under the People's National Movement government. He noted that the country has been reaping significant benefits from oil and gas-related initiatives. Reporter Joe Sheldon has the details.
Oil and gas is the primary revenue-generating industry in Trinidad and Tobago. Prime Minister Stuart Young said between 2016 and 2025, the country earned a total of US $8.1 billion in revenue from various oil and gas-related initiatives.
Between the years 2016 and 2025, as a direct result of those trips they like to criticize and ask about per diem, as a direct result of negotiating on your behalf in the energy sector alone, between 2016 and 2025, we earned $8.1 billion US, which is 57 billion TT dollars.
He also shared how future projects can also be of economic importance.
I have here planned, and in negotiations we are in the process of getting completed, from 2025 to 2028, and it does not include Dragon, $9 billion US in investment in Trinidad and Tobago, which is 70 billion TT dollars. So you decide, Trinidad and Tobago, who is going to bring that home to ensure we have 132 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollars invested from 2016 to when we close off in 2028.
Young further stated that under the governance of the People's National Movement, Trinidad and Tobago has secured $38 billion in gas revenue to date.
As a direct result of the work done, the negotiations, the restructuring, the negotiation for better gas prices, and the introduction of a royalty from 2018 to 2024, so not even including this year, I can tell Trinidad and Tobago that this PNM government, under my leadership, direction, stewardship, with the support of my cabinet colleagues, we earned $38 billion for Trinidad and Tobago for gas revenue that we would not have earned.
Joe Sheldon, Tobago Updates, Television News.
Independent candidate for Tobago West, Ricardo Philip, is calling for a new era of leadership rooted in unity, clarity of vision, and an end to traditional politics. Philip admitted building his one-man army was no easy feat. Kimberly Mitchell has the details.
Ricardo Philip of the Class Action Reform Movement, who is contesting the Tobago West seat, is urging Tobagonians to look beyond party labels and build a collective political consciousness that puts people before politics.
Well, yeah, and that's a fair assessment for now, because it takes one man to start it, as I've said before, but one man can't carry it.
Right.
And so you gotta, you see, the thing about political parties in Trinidad, our history has shown that you form political party and you get people who, without any real knowledge on their interests in terms of what they want out of this.
When asked to take viewers through his political experience, he reflected on the broader national challenges that have shaped his journey. He pointed to the lack of consequences of leadership failures in Trinidad and Tobago, particularly their impact on young people, as a driving force behind his political involvement.
The consequences of our failure as a nation, as far as our young people is concerned, that is a motivating factor, because when we can no longer do for ourselves as senior citizens, these are generation coming up we have to depend on.
Correct.
And we especially our young men, it's terrible, it's frightening. And I've worked with young men in the past.
Running as an independent candidate in Tobago West, Philip admits the campaign trail isn't easy without the resources of mainstream political machines. But despite the obstacles, he remains unfazed and focused on his mission.
Well, you will have challenge in comparison to the big parties.
Right.
The millions of dollars.
Right.
I don't have
and
that.
The big sound systems. And yes.
But I'm in no competition with the big party.
As the 2025 general election approaches, Philip continues his bid for the Tobago West constituency. His message is clear. Meaningful change doesn't require a massive budget or a party machine. It requires vision, courage, and a connection with the people. From his call for political reform and youth empowerment to his refusal to be intimidated by the financial muscle of larger parties, he is positioning himself as a candidate driven by purpose rather than politics. Kimberly Mitchell, Tobago Updates, Television News.
You're watching the Tobago Updates Television News. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Tobago Updates. More news after this.
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
The following is a paid political advertisement.
We are feeling from a little and a grow. I hope it knows it. Sometimes it feel like we let go. I hope it knows it. We are feeling from a little and a grow. I hope it knows it. sell on the pavement. No vacancy, no employment. Cattle firecracker from gunshot. Blood does flow when things get hot. Afraid to look out the window.
On April 28th, vote for the anchor. Vote the Tobago People's Party.
That was a paid political advertisement.
Welcome back. Earlier today, THA Minority Leader Kelvon Morris introduced a motion in the House demanding that the Executive Council promptly answer all outstanding written questions and that the standing orders be amended to establish clear deadlines. Morris noted the numerous questions on the order paper pertinent to the interests of Tobagonians remain unanswered.
But the written questions are simply on the order paper. And because we don't have a name and shame kind of arrangement, they go basically without any sort of oversight. And therefore the public doesn't even know until perhaps now that so many questions are on the order paper unanswered.
He stated that the Standing Orders Committee would need to be involved in drafting these amendments, which he believes would hold the Executive Council accountable.
And as I said, we would definitely need to have the Standing Orders Committee do its work, look at the time period for questions and answer, look at what is an appropriate consequence for those who fail to answer.
Chief Secretary Farley Augustine states that a WhatsApp message between former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and former Finance Minister Colin Imbert does not constitute evidence that two Prados were involved on a bill for expenses related to the 2024 Gulf Stream oil spill. Dr. Rowley made the allegation over the weekend and later claimed his proof was a message from the then Finance Minister. Augustine addressed the issue at a TPP meeting in Castara last night, and reporter Candice Jackson has more details.
Former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley claimed that a WhatsApp message between him and former Finance Minister Colin Imbert serves as proof that the THA placed an order for two Prados while submitting expenses related to the oil spill. In response, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine said he was disappointed by the allegation.
And Mr. Ex-Prime Minister, if the WhatsApp message would come from me, you could have accepted it. If the WhatsApp message would come from the Secretary of Finance, you could accept it. But you ain't see like coming but setting you up because you bust your throat and put a next man to be Prime Minister. You ain't see coming but setting you up, boy.
Augustine stated that such an allegation must be backed by infallible evidence.
Evidence must come from what was submitted by the THA to you. You let coming but set you up. You're too big for that, Mr. Ex-Prime Minister.
The Chief Secretary denied that the THA ever made such an order.
Not a single Prado request was made for the oil spill.
However, he revealed that there was an invoice to cover the rental of vehicles for officials, including the director of the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, Alan Stewart.
Because during the oil spill, Mr. Alan Stewart, there was no vehicle assigned to him, none that was working. And we had to use my vehicle, other vehicles, try to pick him up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning from Mason Hall. We said we rent a car and let him use it for the period until we could actually afford a vehicle for his office.
Requests were also made to cover transportation costs for international agents and volunteers who assisted with the cleanup efforts of the oil spill. Meanwhile, Finance Secretary Petal Ann Roberts said she never expected Dr. Rowley to make such a false accusation.
And I take this one to heart because I cannot understand how a leader of a country for so many years, so can you imagine how much other lies he would have told over his tenure?
Roberts claimed she reviewed all the bills sent to central government and at no point were orders for Prados included. Candace Jackson, Tobago Updates, Television News.
The weather report is up next.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
The following is a paid political advertisement.
On April 28th, vote for the anchor. Vote the Tobago People's Party.
This is an extra flight that we have for standby passengers. All the flights have groups on them, as you will see, Maxi pulling up.
There are some persons who want to go on the airport at any time without any serious plans and just jump on a plane and make it, and it doesn't operate like that. It doesn't operate like that. But for us, it's not a luxury.
They're walking past you in the airport and getting the flight because ministers and yes, chief secretaries too, just get priority on the plane. But all the time they're walking past you, they ain't care to lift their voice for you so that you could get more flights. Now the power is in your hands. Don't give them 5 more years to walk past you in high heels and ignore you.
On April 28th, vote for the anchor. Vote the Tobago People's Party.
That was a paid political advertisement.
Are you in a dispute?
Now for a look at the weather update from the TNT Met office. Tonight is expected to be generally fair, except for a few light passing showers. Tomorrow generally fair, slightly hazy, and at times breezy despite the likelihood of 1 or 2 brief isolated showers. Daytime temperatures are set to reach 31 degrees Celsius with a heat index of 34 degrees Celsius. Seas moderate with waves 1.5 to 2 meter in open waters and below 1 meter in sheltered areas. Sunrise is at 5:46 and sunset at 6:14. And that's how we end this evening's newscast. Here's a recap of the headlines. Kojo Lewis challenges Sampson to debate after his no-show at CivilNet's West discussion. Finance Secretary calls for property tax collected in Tobago to remain in Tobago. PDP's Curtis Douglas observes high level of poverty during election walkabouts. And the Kendall Farm School receives upgrades. I am Biana Brebner. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night.